Man, how the hell is this thing derived from the Mark II? Hello and welcome back to another Gunpla review. Today we're taking a look at the HGUC Barzam. Alright, and starting off as always with the articulation. The head is on a ball joint, as well as a forward and back hinge. Pretty good articulation considering how deep set it is in there. The shoulder is on an upwards hinge, as well as a sliding out track, so the shoulder itself can get 90 degrees. As well as a bit of front to back movement here. There's a ball joint in the actual shoulder itself, so you get a little bit more wiggle there. The arm can come out a full 90 degrees. It's a little bit of a weird joint in there, but it does work. And of course there is a bicep rotation, as well as a double jointed elbow. Not a ton of rotation there, but that's mostly just because of the actual design. I mean, there's literally no way they could have gotten that to move more than that. The forearm has a hinge in here because of the beam saber storage. And the hands, as always, are on a ball joint. There's a forward-facing hinged ball joint in the torso, so as long as you don't do that, you get plenty of articulation. Pretty much as far to either side as you'd want. Pretty decent crunch. And you get a rotation side to side. The hips can actually swivel side to side a little bit for a little bit more range, though because of the lack of side skirt, they pretty much don't have any restriction aside from the physical stopping points on the suit. Universal for the hips, meaning pretty much as much articulation as you would want out of them. Not quite a full 90 at the side, but that's mostly because it actually physically gets stopped by the leg. And there is actually a thigh swivel inside there. Double jointed knee for pretty much a full bend. It does look a little bit weird, but that's just the Barzam. Usual ankle movement of just a forward back hinge and then a ball joint, which, given the design of the ankle, you probably wouldn't get much more out of it anyway. And there is a downward toe bend. So overall, the Barzam has pretty great articulation, though given when this was made, that's not really surprising. Alright, getting into accessories, let's start off as always with the sticker sheet, and by extension, color correction. Not a very big sticker sheet, though there is a bit of color correction that isn't on here. This gray sticker is actually behind the Vulcan. I painted it, obviously. Then this round sticker is the side of that Vulcan. This little red sticker here is the one on the chest. The camera's really having trouble focusing for some reason. And these four little triangles go on the sides of the legs. These are the two cameras for the rifle. So aside from that, I put a bit of silver behind the eye, and also the area around the eye I painted to color match this, because it's actually the lighter gray for some reason. You have to do the usual trim around different verniers, as well as the black in the verniers here on the legs, and the rest of the paint is on the rifle, because this thing is actually really well color separated. Most of the red and all of the yellow are separate pieces. Only really tiny areas that I don't think they could have got away with anyway that they actually required painting. And speaking of that extra bit of paint, the rifle. You need to paint the gray on here, on this bit here, and along both middle sections, which I feel like all of this gray could have been included on the runner with these, because these are actually really stuck in there now because I think the paint fused to them, but these are separate pieces, and I really feel like all that gray could have been one. Movable handle, and yes, this is the main handle off to the side here. And you do get two of these little parts, a retracted one and an extended one. Don't really know why you'd want to use this short one, but you can. This actually mounts up on this little gray piece on the shoulder, and is held by the alternate hands. Though, speaking of hands, you do get two open hands, which is awesome. And you get two of these two-piece holding hands, which is fine. And finally, the beam sabers up in the arm are actually false, but you do get two proper ones. Since this is a modern kit, of course, it holds them completely fine. And as for a quick size comparison, the Bjarland is honestly about average height for a mobile suit. It's a little bit taller, but the neck is so sunken into the body that the head isn't actually that high. Aside from the massive mohawk, but does that really count? So, to wrap this review up, the high grade does it justice. It's a really nice suit design, and this kit has pretty much perfect color separation, pretty great articulation, doesn't really do anything wrong. It is definitely one of the weirder designs from Zeta, but I like that, and if you do too, I recommend picking this up. Anyway, that's all for this review. Be sure to let me know what you think down in the comments below. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, helps a lot. Subscribe and hit the bell for future reviews. Go follow me on Twitter for updates, and consider supporting me on Patreon so I can keep making reviews just like this one. And as always, until next time, happy building.